Hi, my name is Mark and I teach economics. In this video, we're going to talk about the reasons Russia invaded Ukraine. I'll give you a little bit of background. I am working on a Ph.D. I'm a Ph.D. Student in economics, and I'm going to school in Eastern Europe. I'm an American. I'm also Ukrainian in background, and so I have a lot of intimate details about Ukraine. I've traveled extensively in Eastern Europe, Ukraine, Poland, Russia. I lived in Eastern Europe for about 10 years. And I've been a lifelong student of Russian history. A lot of narratives on the web about why Russia, specifically Vladimir Putin, invaded Ukraine. A lot of people talking about NATO intervention and Western creeping into the sphere of influence into Russia, which traditionally has been Russia. If you look at Ukrainian history, Ukraine started as a distinct country in the Kievan Rus back in, I believe, around 966. I may have the dates wrong. And you had the rulers Oleg, Rourke. You had a very distinctive Kievan state. And this lasted for a very long time. Moscow was stone knives and bearskin, wasn't even related. Ukraine is a separate language, separate culture, separate people, separate makeup of people. It's a different country, different ideas, very democratic, Western progressive thinking. The reason Putin invaded is one word: oil and gas. Putin invaded because of gas. They discovered vast resources, vast amounts, let's say metaphorically an unlimited supply of gas in Ukraine, around Crimea, the eastern regions, and some in the west. Right now, Ukraine is acting as a bridge between Russia and Europe, the primary bridge of gas supplies. And if they start to Ukraine starts to tap into these gas, oil and reserves in Ukraine, it would nullify the Russian monopoly on oil and gas. How important is it to Russia? 50% of the budget of Russia is financed by gas. 30% of the GDP is financed by gas. So if this gas monopoly is disrupted, it would bring an end to the Russian oligarchs and the power as we know it today. Tsar Putin would actually begin to fall, lose his power. So as a peaceful, liberty-minded person, you can defend, you should say there should be a defense of Ukraine. Because what it comes down to is property rights. A larger power forcibly wants to steal property for economic gain. No different than somebody coming to a house with force or weapons and stealing your house, or a carjacker. And the narrative they try to spin is NATO's influence. But this is not the true story. The reason Russia invaded Ukraine was they wanted to steal the gas. They wanted to steal the land and the gas, control their monopoly, and keep things going as it does. But in the economic world and in life, nothing is ever stagnant. It's very fluid. When you have freedom and free movement of labor and capital and trade, there's no reason to steal gas. It's only people that fear and want control try to steal things. And unfortunately, there's a great loss of life in Ukraine right now because of this. And I'm very happy to see that the Ukrainians are standing up for this freedom and not allowing people to just steal their homes and what is theirs. Of course, the loss of life is the most tragic. When you hear anything on social media or the news about the reasons why Russia invaded Ukraine, refer back to me. It's about oil and gas. It's about gas. It's about monopoly control. And again, what makes me an authority? I don't know if I'm the world authority on it, but I spend much of my life there. My family comes from there. I am a Ph.D. researcher and student, and a lifelong researcher of Russian and Ukrainian studies. So the reason Putin and Russia invaded was for economic monopoly reasons. And the outcome is great loss of life and the theft of property. We as a world need to stop that. Thank you very much.